In this last video, I would like to talk about the one and only, the biggest turning point of the game at the end, of course, is the sacrifice. Now, did it really happen? Possibly, I think 100% yes. I think it really did happen. Was it because the characters were in a cult? See, it could perhaps, but I honestly do have my own perspective of their cause of this sacrifice, of course. And pay attention and do keep in mind that the quick film loop that was inside the cinema plays an important part of the purpose behind the sacrifice they did. And if we are talking about sacrifice without the religion view of it, but the significance through the power of symbolism, we can possibly tell that this sacrifice was performed represents the loss of the character's innocence, which explains the bunnies in the film we see in the cinema, because of course bunnies means purity and innocence. We also had that moral decay that could be behind leading up to the sacrifice, in which we had seen the food in that film that was decaying in there. We also think we have to think about the harm from the innocents, such as the corrupted characters that was ignored or tolerated. That could be another reason and perspective behind the sacrifice. Now, with this feeling of degradation, they have to take it out on someone else, possibly putting the blame on someone because of their greed, their guilt, their struggles, the corruption that was upon them, and who they might take that out on. Of course, the one and only girl. Why? Because if we all know, girl was everything they could not have, and her purity could have been that key. They possibly thought if they get rid of the girl, sacrifice her, they could perhaps be better. They can perhaps reclaim that innocence, or it could just be simply getting rid of the source that they cannot get their hands on. I mean, don't get me wrong. It made me relate to this, because in the past, growing up, I used to be targeted in real life because of my intelligence in school, or my how the way I articulate or use my mannerisms outside of the house, and have a good head on my shoulders. Something that they felt they could never have from me. Yes, we do see the scene where they slice their hands and pour their blood into an artifact. It does scream ritual, like, oh yeah, this is definitely it, because they're giving up their blood and putting it in an artifact. But really, it could also possibly be the way for the characters to externalize their pain, hide their corruption, having that guilt and paying the price of it by, of course, giving their blood. Now, the girl was, of course, in the end was cleansed, thanks to the previous lost innocent souls that we saw. Could be another symbolism. But because of this unjustly wrongdoing of their decision, their deaths were sent to, like, after they die, they were sent to the afterlife. And so does the flood, okay? Now, I think the flood that had happened, we saw at the end and also in the game, could just simply be from the consequences of their action, or the cleansing of the corruption. So that's what I got from the game. Yes, there were sheep surrounding the kids, but once again, it could have been a figurative way to display the anger of an empty childhood. Now, my big questions are this, because I wonder, and this is from when we saw the deaths of each of the characters, and also in the film, because we see a group of birds kicking one bird off the cliff. But anyways, I wonder, was were Boy, Bandage, Hood, and Bucket were dead before they sacrificed the girl or after, because we do see the flood happening right after they sacrifice her. And it could have taken for a while for the flood to happen, of course, or this could just be a simple figurative exaggeration of this is what happens when you sacrifice a girl. You're gonna get this flood and be sent to the afterlife, or this is just of the way to enter the afterlife. I don't know, and because here's the thing. I was disturbed from the film in the cinema. And once again, I said this, when I see the group of birds kicking one bird off the cliff and the figures walk into the woods. It had me thinking, could the boys have killed themselves one by one, or was it just a simple natural self-destruction of wrongdoing? We don't know specifically how it led up to them dying, but there is a possibility that they probably have killed one another because they perhaps needed to blame someone else for their action again, simply turning on each other, and it gets worse and worse after that. So that's my big questions, because I was really interested in making that conclusion. So, but that's all I have from my entire series of my theory and analysis and analysis on Reanimal. Out of all the games the creators made, from the Little Nightmare series and this Reanimal, I have to say that this game is definitely at the top for me. It definitely has. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful being able to be the characters, explore this afterlife, and collect the context and the theme and the symbolism from this game. Oh, and also just to add on top of that, I know at the end, we see Bucket holding the lamb, but of course that's the same lamb that we saw that was in the barn that they lure girl in. So Bucket is just probably carrying it because, they literally did this right after they lure her in the barn shed. So.